take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag learnAsOnePH as our official hashtag to our VIBAL webinars. Experience learning, ka-VIBAL? And now, to proceed with our webinar this morning, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Annalisa Chavez Iballo earned her bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in biology, cum laude at Philippine Normal University, Manila. She took her master's degree in special education, major in autism and mental retardation at University of Makati. She also earned units for Doctor of Philosophy on Special Education and currently a candidate for Doctor of Education in Innovative Management at the same university. She is a Metrobank Alumni Scholar where she was awarded as a Outstanding Scholar Award. At present, she receives Scholar for Postgraduate Education from the local government of Makati City. She has served in various capacities as classroom teacher, class advisor, coach and trainer, club advisor, instructor, resource speaker, researcher, research panel member, writer, and recently under the coaching program in distance education. Every year during Teachers' Day, she receives several awards which includes Most Influential Teacher, Disciplinarian of the Year Award, Students' Choice Award, and one Model Teacher of the Year Award which were selected and voted by the students in the year level she teaches. She is a member and an officer of Biology Teachers Association, Makati National Chapter. She is also an active member of UNICEF Philippines, Champion for Children in which is supporting their activities since 2016 and a member of Autism Society of the Philippines since 2006. She recently finished the MOOC massive online course in content-based instruction by US Department of State and participated the training by SEAMEO Inotech webinar on quality learning and assessments during the COVID-19 pandemic. At the present, she is teaching in Pitogo High School, DepEd Makati, handling science subjects since 2004 and affiliated with the University of Makati as Associate Professor 4. A mother of 3 boys, one of which is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder who is 15 years old, and the 2 boys who are constant achievers in their school, ages 6 and 10 in a private school in Makati City. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Annalisa Chavez Iballo.
Hi guys, good morning everyone. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for being able to give an ample of your time for me today to be able to have this learning session with you. At first, I would like to thank God, Yahweh, for giving me this opportunity to be able to share and speak pieces of my mind, and to be Bal, of course, for giving me this learning opportunity to do this live session. And thank you pala for the introduction a while ago. So guys, I would like to stress out that all of the methods and sharings and strategies that I'll be sharing to you today may not be the sole remedy you are looking for in the challenge or the situation you're having right now. It may not be the solution you are expecting to have or you will meet in the future when the school starts in October 5. No, if you are struggling teachers, no, attending lots of webinars, need to learn a lot of learning platform, a lot of tools for your online learning. And if you are parents who are struggling with online learning, distance education, just like I am right now, I totally understand how you feel. So all of the things that I'm going to share with you right now are products of my researches, readings, some experiences, and sharings from my friends at the university, a university which has done distance education for quite a long time, and the feedback from some of the professors that I know, and a certain university as well that just recently started distance learning this September. No? And of course, from the parents, no? Very important. The parents, how do they feel? And the students, what are the experiences on distance learning? Okay, so I just want you to sit back, relax, and let us enjoy today's presentation. Okay, I'm sharing in my screen. Okay, wait. Okay, so can you see my screen, Michelle? Can you see my screen?
Yes po, ma'am.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear
Okay.
po.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you guys for helping me out. So my topic for today's session is creating an atmosphere of school environment at home and how to make it work. You might say, in science, kasi guys, when you say atmosphere, you are basically dealing with the layer of the earth, which is composed of layers of gases. And this layers, this atmosphere, I believe is the one in which it equipped this planet on how it enhances, maintains life till up to the present. Of course, most of us we know that we need oxygen and able to live, you know, and we basically need some of the gases such as nitrogen is embedded in our DNA in our cells, you know, and some of the bacteria, of course, they are using other gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and such that. So in my topic for today, I use the term atmosphere because atmosphere represents the totality of the environment no a child could have and it's learning for the school setup and home. So dinadala natin yung setup natin, yung school natin sa ating mga bahay. So how does it work? Okay, so as you can see, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for quite a long time, for 18 years. I've been to private schools and the university as well. And then now I'm in a public school in DepEd Makati. Okay, and I'm also affiliated with this in this university. Okay, so okay, so my question is, do you ever wonder, you ask yourself, why do you go to school? Bakit ba ako pumapasok? I remember a tagline in this commercial that say, para kanino ka bumabangon? No. It was very intriguing at the same time, very inspiring for all of us because we have different roles, especially of the things that going in right now, no? Bakit kailangan natin pumasok sa school? Natanong niyo na ba 'yun sa sarili niyo, no? When I was younger, no, my mom, kasi I don't have, my father died when I was young. At a very young age naman nawala na si papa. So when I was young, my mom would always say that you need to go to school for you to be able to reach your dreams, to be able to to be the best you can be, to be able to achieve this and that, and then to be able to help your family. No? So I'm having the same question with you guys. Bakit ba kayo pumasok sa school? Ano ba yung mga kailangan niyo matutunan? Hindi ba pwedeng sa bahay na lang, mag-relax na lang? Bakit pa tayo pumapasok sa school? So let's start with a short history of education timeline. So as you can see, since way back 2000 BC, we are having or undergoing education from our philosophers, great philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, Descartes, Plato, and that. And this timeline includes up to the present generation we're having right now. Okay, so as you can see, for the previous era, we are going to school. Here in the Philippines, there is a decree in 1863 that promotes that allows the establishment of formal school. Okay. So for most of us, I think you agree that school is our second home. So in our life, no, one of the most memorable, one of the most exciting part of one's life is being in school. So probably you would say you are nodding your heads right now, tumatango kayo, oo nga na nag-aaral ako. We might not remember the things we learn exactly from our teachers. We might not remember their faces readily, but we could remember the experiences that we have. So bakit ba tayo pumapasok sa school? We could remember sino yung classmate natin magaling, sino yung ganito, sino yung ganyan, ano yung feeling pag may exam, ano yung feeling pag may deadline, pag may submission, you borrow notes, sometimes you copy notes, sometimes you sleep in class, ganyan, sometimes you cut class for sa, wag naman po sana. And then for that's on the perspective of the students. For the teacher, why do we let our students go to school? Because we believe that education is the stepping stone to one's success in life. Lagi natin sinasabi sa mga estudyante natin yan, mag-aaral kang mabuti kasi makakatulong to sa iyo kung ano man yung sitwasyon mo ngayon, para malaki ang may tutulong ng edukasyon. Because being educated makes you to be literate, and for that purpose, going to school, you could gain certain skills, you can gain, yeah, of course, knowledge. You could add up to the knowledge and information you're having right now. You could learn basic skills, reading, writing, arithmetic. You could develop your talents, your potentials, and then you could have a chance to learn from experts. You could get to know experts, most likely in our tertiary education, postgraduate education, and those are the people that could basically influence you. So you are being exposed to certain activities and idea and the fields of knowledge that someday you might be needing in the future. Kasi, the goal of the basic education of 1982 is to create or to produce students which are functionally literate. Now, when you say functionally literate, they should be able to adapt all the learnings that they have. They could acquire the competencies that they have that they need to their future occupations and jobs. No, that's why now we have the K to 12 curriculum, wherein the lessons and the competencies are linked spiral down from the basic level, no, grassroots level up to the higher. So nakalink siya o ladderized siya. The main reason for that, the beauty of that, I guess, is to be able to lead the students to their possible careers in the future, to lead the students to their interests in the future. And that would help them land on a good job. Because here in the Philippines, we are considered as one of the country who was having high literacy rate, but we also have problems with unemployment rate, basically because for the reason of job job mismatch. So hindi angkop yung pinag-aralan mo doon, yung natapos mo doon sa kailangan ng employer. Okay? So those are the problem that we have. So when you say the school is our second home, of course, sa bahay, may mga anak, those are the students. And then may mga magulang, those are your teachers. So, ang mga teacher, they serve as the one, they guide you, no? Now I'm having, my kids had started distance education, online classes, and I salute the preschool teacher. Grabe, ang hirap pala magturo sa preschool, no? Kasi each students have different personality. It's hard to train. No, I salute them. If you are a primary teacher, I salute you. The administrators and the teachers, ang galing po. No, ang hirap nung kanilang role in able to maintain the discipline. You couldn't see the students face to face. You could not control them. You could not monitor if they're doing it. And I salute all the parents also, no, or who are actually dealing with online learning, with distance education. Most likely for the primary kids, ang hirap guys. Kasi I've experienced it, no, andun yung time na saway ka ng saway. So we will talk more of that later. But then enjoyable din siya, no? We will hit some of the point later. So according to John Dewey, this is one of my favorite thinkers, philosophers of all time, John Dewey. His theory is also the framework of the K to 12 education. learning by doing. So, as I said a while ago, pinag-usapan natin kanina, bakit ba tayo pumapasok sa school? I think to sum it all is for us to know ourselves better, to make ourselves better, and to borrow the words of my principal, to better ourselves, no? Para makilala pa natin yung sarili natin, no? Paano natin i-improve, paano natin pagagalingin. Kasi for this time, for this crisis, for this pandemic, it is able to open our eyes on how to do collaboration. No? It enable us to be connected, though we are not physically connected. Yun nga yung medyo, ano dun eh, yun nga yung medyo nakakatawang effect. We are not connected physically, but we are very much connected up to this point because we are experiencing all of the things that everyone is experiencing, and not only us, our country, but we are experiencing around the world. No, we share the difficulties, and we share the challenges that each of us are sharing. So how are we going to counteract that? No. So according to John Dewey, if education is the life itself, so school must be or should be the one who is enabled to guide the students on how are they going to develop themselves. Ang laki ng role ng teacher, ang laki ng role ni principal, ang laki ng role ng division, ang laki ng role ni DepEd in molding. So now you could basically understand if you are parents right now, students right now watching this session, I would like to tell you, no, it's not easy to be in the education system up to this point because we are our Department of Education are finding ways, looking for ways, searching to different trials, to different platform, different strategies on how to satisfy, on how to adjust to the different demands of the country. So mahirap po talaga siya. So let us salute our DepEd Secretary. Let us salute the education system. Okay, so paano na yun? We are in the new normal. Paano na tayo? So I have here pictures coming from CNN. So I was able to got these scenarios. These are the ones that happening around the world. So you have, of course, we have the use of face mask. So naalala ko nga natin, Pasko na dito sa Pilipinas when September starts. We know that it's the start of Christmas celebration. We are the country who is having the longest time of celebrating Christmas, no? Compared to the other countries in the world. So ganito ba yung mangyayari sa atin? Paano tayo kakanta ng jingle bells and stuff and that? So we still do caroling. So there is a school in Thailand who was recently open and they were able to do physical distancing. I think some of our neighbors in Asia was able to do that. And could do a lot, but they followed a lot of safety protocols like this. The kids wear hat, which is basically meters away from the classmates. So there are a lot of adjustments. So, sabi ko nga kanina, if 2000 BC pa lang, no, centuries pa lang, we are going to school. Now, in the click of the hand, iba na. Iba na yung setup. So, ang hirap mag-adjust. Yeah, we know the change is an inevitable fact that the only constant in this planet is change. What may be true today may not be true tomorrow. But then again, ang hirap mag-adjust, no? Let me show you this detail. This came from Educational Psychology Online. Sabi dito, when you wanted the habit to start, you need to have 21 days. No. So how did they do this strategy? Because there was this surgeon that was able to do face surgery. Then it took the patient 21 days for him to be able to recognize his own self, his own face. So 21 days. In some of the readings that I got, you need to have 61 days for you for a certain habit or to break a certain habit. So, paano ko ba gagawin to? Eh, ang tagal ko nang ginagawa. Simula elementary ako, pumapasok ako sa school, gumigising ako ng maaga, meron akong teacher. So, the parents nag-guide lang, paano ko gagawin to? So, to continue, some of the countries around the world, they they still continue their social activities, but as you can see here, they're inside the bubble, no? Meron silang nasa loob sila ng isang bubble. Like yung nangyayari sa NBI ngayon, like my husband is telling me. So how did they do basketball? Because how to reduce the transmission of coronavirus. And he said they are playing inside the bubble and they stay there. So we are also doing that in the Philippines. We're not inside the bubble, but we have a lot of social distancing. Okay, so this is in a European country, so they could do conversation inside similar, para siyang greenhouse, no? Para siyang bubble. And do we do a lot of sanitation? Sa mga cinema sa kanila, they could go to cinema, kaya lang social distancing pa rin, 1 seat apart, I guess. No? Here in the Philippines, when you go to hospital, St. Luke's, they're basically not practicing 1 meters. I think it's more than that. Kasi ang isang seat from you to the next seat would take 3 more. So I think it depends, no? Matindi yung kanilang protocol because they are in the hospital. And recently, guys, as you can see in one of the pictures here, we have this a cinema done in open space, like the one we have in Mall of Asia right now. It's a bit costly, like the one I heard in the news, but it's very interesting. How do you do that, and how is the feeling? So they're going to send you a link, and you're going to watch in your car and listen to your car, and then see the screen outside. Okay. So, here naman, nakapila po yung mga tao. Yeah, we do that when we enter the malls, no, when we wait for our ride, when we do go to groceries, lagi tayo nakapila, and then mabilis ang dispense ng tao, and then sanitize lahat. So, what are the challenges we are facing in the new normal? So, as you can see here in one of the picture, the parent is working. She's calling probably a client, or she's calling the office, and then she watches the child over. I could say, and I could relate to that, because guys, you cannot serve two masters at the same time. You will love the other and hate the other. Ang hirap po mag-multitask, no? Especially if you don't have it for a long time. Siguro dati, it's easier for us to do so because we send our kids to school and we can work and then pick it up and then teach them our assignment, and then that's it. Now it's we are, especially if you're working from home, you work at home and then you see your kids and then you assist the kids, or if you're not working from home and then you're working right now, so you will see pagod ka na sa labas, and then when you go home you need to attend to your kids, so things like that. These are the products of the new normal. Now, the Department of Education was able to reduce our learning competencies. When you say learning competencies, these are composed of knowledge, of understanding, skills, and attitude that expected for a learner to learner to have, and to acquire. So it has the following requirements and categories now for learning competencies. The first criteria is that it should be aligned to the national framework. No? It should promote the scientific literacy of a student. So that's the first criteria. When you say scientific literacy, it's not just basically memorizing the calculation, the facts, and this and that, but to be able to apply the learnings in science into your daily life. No? For example, sa biology, no? Bakit kailangan natin kumain ng sustansyang pagkain? Because they were able to activate our cells in that. Why do we need to sanitize ourselves to avoid the transmission, to avoid microorganism in that? Why do we need to take in vitamin C? Why do we need to take in sunlight to be able to uplift our vitamin D and E so that we could counteract this virus? And the second criteria is to be able to convert competencies of this should be able to convert to a higher competencies across. So these competencies that are left are connected with the ones that are having at the higher level or the tertiary education. And then it should be connected to real life situation, guys. Yeah. Okay. To make learning functionally, they should be able to appreciate it. I remember one of my kids says, no, kasi I'm a science teacher now. When you have problem solvings and computation, most of the kids, lalo na pag ang topic mo sa chem ay moles, ganyan, pag ang topic mo sa physics ay problem solving, you need to be creative, you need to find ways, you need to do a lot of researches on how to motivate your students. Kasi they would say na, you would ask them, bakit di ka nagsusolve? Bakit di mo siya ginagawa? No? Yung iba, they would say na, saan ko mo gagamitin yan? No? Sabihan ka ng gano'n ng bata. Parang, bakit ko kailangan aralin yan? Ano yung makukuha ko out of that? So as a teacher, before, kailangan natin paintindi sa bata kung ano yung purpose nito. Kaya nga sa parts ng lesson natin, meron tayo doon application, no? Nandun yung dun sa latter part yung application in which they could relate their real life situation. Okay? Or you could find it in the performance task. So, kung ano yung natutunan nila, papasok mo yung creativity nila, and how did they interpret it would basically tell you if they understood the lesson well. It's not basically relying on formative assessment and ang galing naman ng teacher, ang tataas ng estudyante niya, ano? Yeah, or if mataas yung mean per score mo, okay yun. But then it would be better if we could teach our students to be lifelong learner. So the challenge is binawasan na yung learning competencies by 60%. So most of us, like us educators, we know that the topics that we were having are a lot basic and a lot simpler. So the students are expected to learn on the setting. You could allow them, you could take note that you could not tell them that they should know this right away. So kailangan pag nagbigay tayo ng information, structured siya guys, simple siya. Kasi the environment at home and the environment at school is a lot different. So I think most parents would agree with me, no? In my 18 years of teaching, they would say na, bakit yung anak ko ganito sa bahay, ma'am? Bakit yung anak ko hindi ganito sa bahay? Kasi ako yung teacher, guys, I always give time to my students. No? Masyado akong busising advisor. No? So tatanong ko, pag di pumapasok, mababa ganito, pinapakailaman ko, minomonitor ko yan. No? Kasi I understand that the parents are very busy with their job. So baka di nila natutukan yung anak nila. So I often do that. So lagi akong laman ng guidance center. Lagi na guidance ko yung sarili ko. Then, so one of the parents tell me that, ma'am kasi busy ako eh. Ma'am kasi ganito ako eh. May ginagawa ako, ganyan. So, walang focus si bata, or may problema sa gadget, may problem sa family. So, ang problem ngayon, guys, ang challenge ngayon for us in the new normal is how are we going to deal about it? Si teacher, makikita lang ni bata online sa screen, or mababasa niya yung module, or makikita niya sa TV at maririnig niya sa radio nagsasalita, hindi niya makikita physically. And to tell you honestly, no, I think most of us would agree, especially classroom teachers or subject teacher, na ang bata, kailangan niya si teacher to be there. Most of my principals should see that there's always teacher inside the classroom. Kasi sa amin, sa school namin, how do we ensure that there's a lot of monitors going on hours, and aside from the fact that principals are monitoring us, the department's head and the council chairman are monitoring us to ensure that we are really there. Kasi if you are not there inside the classroom, how are you going to guide your students? No? If they don't see you physically, bawa, may ginagawa silang ganyan during the break. Ako kasi may mga klase ako na after ng break. So, paborito ko yung umakyat ng maaga kasi I could cut them what they are doing. So you could see, pag nakita ka nila, oh, diyan si Ma'am Ibalyo, no? Para akong scarecrow, no? Para nagiging aware sila, nagiging attuned sila, nagiging guided sila na kailangan din nila ginagawa to. So ang challenge is paano natin gagawin yung discipline, paano natin sila tuturuan kung at first hindi natin sila nakikita. Hindi nakikita nila tayo but they could not, iba pa rin yung physically, no? I think most of you would agree with that. But we cannot do anything about the situation right now. So I think we should learn how to work together and be able to acquaint ourselves with all the things that we could do to be able to give the learning and the literacy to our learners. So this is a data coming from UNESCO, the World Economic Forum in 2015. This is basically, you could see at this graph that the Philippines has very high literacy rate. Mataas lang ng konti sa atin guys yung Singapore. It's 96.8, tayo ay 96.6. Kanina napag-usapan na natin yung literacy. Okay? So, how are we going to address our concern? Or in the next slide that I'll be showing to you, you could ask yourself if you're a parent or a student or a teacher, do I experience this? Will I experience this? Or am I experiencing this? So in our new normal. Let's have the first one. The first scenario is, ano po? Ask Kamay. Ayan, mga paggising time. Mhm. You know, the time is very essential to one's life, no? Because sabi nga nila, time is gold. Once it passes, you could never take it back. No? Same with opportunity. Once it passes you by, you could never take it back. So it would be different. So ano yung challenges and concern natin kapag yung bata ay pumapasok sa school? Pumapasok yung bata sa school, ang una nating challenge ay gisingin sila. Most likely for us, for our public school, uh, most of the public school in the Philippines, ang pasok ng bata, ang flag ceremony is 6. Kasi yung school namin, katabi namin dito, 6 a.m. nag-flag ceremony na sila. So, anong grades nun, guys? So, uh, paano mo sila gigisingin? Hindi naman sila pwedeng gumising mag-isa. So, yun ang concern natin if they're going to school. Number one is yung kanilang schedule. Kasi as a parent and as a teacher, i-adjust natin yung schedule natin dun sa schedule ng klase na hawak natin or dun sa schedule ng mga anak natin. And the administrator, pag time naman, ang number one concern mo dyan, kasi naka-follow ba yung time, nagagawa ba ni teacher to, nakakapasok ba yung students, no? So, again, let me share with you one of the good practices in our school, in Pitogo High School, Makati, no? We have this closed gate policy. I think it's very effective. Kasi yung bata, hindi pa siya pumapasok sa school, he or she is not yet inside the campus, but the students was able to know that he or she needs to be ready for school. Kasi po, if the it closes at 12:30, he should be there earlier. So nagiging mas maaga siya. No? Si-set na siya. No? Nagiging on toes na si bata doon sa time na kailangan niyang nasa school. And then aside from that, no, when we give deadlines and that we make sure that we collaborate with each teacher. Kung ikaw si advisor, no, most of us, ganun kasi yung kultura sa amin, we talk, no. We are a very close community. We talk, we have year level. May hierarchy kami sa Pitogo High School eh. From the principal, give us trainings, guided kami parati yun. And we are very thankful for that. Kasi if that, hindi kami magiging ganun ka-efficient like we are right now. No? From the principal, he always makes sure meron siyang mga meetings, meron siyang conferences. So, ang challenge namin right now, hindi kami nakikita physically kasi nga due to the danger of COVID-19, but we have virtual meetings, guys. So, our school starts in October, but we did a lot of preparations already. And I think most of the schools in the Philippines have done a lot of preparation. I could see online that teachers are beating time, beating deadlines to be able to help on how to give modules, no? Yung iba nakikita ko pa tumatawid pa ng ilog, no? Si teacher, no, nagbibigay, nag-reach out sa mga estudyante niya kasi here at the NCR we're very lucky kasi we have accessibility to technologies. But what about to the teachers who's there at the provinces, no? Kailangan pa nilang tumawid ng ilog, ng sapa, ng batis, no? Favorite ko yung tagline ng mother ko eh. So, lagi niyang pang-konsensya sa akin yan pag tinatamad ako mag-aral. Sabihin niya, kami, gumigising ako, 3:00 ng umaga. Ayan. Sino yung mga ganyan? Tatawid pa kami ng ilog. Babalot namin yung mga damit namin, yung gamit namin kasi tatawid kami, mababasa kami. So, time. So, kung ang pasok nila is 6, 3:00 or 2 o'clock pa lang nagta-travel sila. No? So, I salute those people having right now. Ano ngayon, in the time of this pandemic, in this time of crisis, paano na yun? Paano na yung time management ngayon? So, it creates an opportunity. Kasi, if you are at home, pag sa school, syempre, kailangan gumising ka ng mas maaga. Sabi nga ng aking principal, kung ang pasok mo ay ganito at di ka sanay gumising ng maaga, so i-train mo yung sarili mo para ma-break mo yung habit na yun. He is basically right, no? Paano yun pag nasa bahay ka na? So, if you are doing online learning or distance learning right now and your concern is basically waking up, madali, ga-alarm clock ka. No? You ask if you have your mother, if someone that could tell you to wake up. Kaya lang guys, the challenge that you face here for scenario number 1 is honestly, no, mas nagiging relax si bata na gumising. Hindi yung urgency to wake up kasi kailangan niya mag-prepare, kailangan niya maganto, hindi ganoon katindi pag sa distance education, no? That's based from my experiences. I don't know with you. So with my kids, ano pa lang, so their classes starts now. Summer pa lang, tinetrain ko na sila na may pasok na ganito, paano ganyan. So kaya lang, when you have 6 years old, no, na mahilig hindi naman makipag-argue sa'yo, na mahilig siya magbigay ng kanyang mga suggestions and guidelines. No? And then, yung isa, mas matinding makipag-debate yun, yung middle kong anak. So, ba't magigisingin? May pasok na ba kami? So, kung hindi niyo pa siya nagagawa ngayon, guys, I think it's about time. Meron pa tayong ample of time that we could still train our students, our kid, our child, to wake up early or to do or to be mindful of the time. And speaking of time, we need to do a lot of help. We need to do a lot of time management. Dapat meron tayong weekly plan, no? Kaya lang ang problema diyan, if I am a parent and I'm working, so I'm torn between the time that I could do things, attend meetings, submit this, to the time of giving service to my kids, to the time of assisting my kids. Ayun yung number one na challenge. So, paano ko pagsasabayin yun? Ano bang unahin ko? Gigisingin ko yung anak ko o magla-login ako sa school? Yun ba yung gagawin ko? Magpapasa ako ng ito o magpe-prepare ako ng breakfast ng anak ko? So, those are the challenges for us. Right. Okay, waking up is very difficult. Ayan po, deadlines and task assignments. Sometimes, if we, like me, kasi in their school, they have this learning platform. Kasi we have this synchronous and asynchronous setup. For the asynchronous setup, they don't meet, no? That's the time they could answer their learning platform, no? And the teacher posted their activities, no? And but of course, the student could do that on their own. You need to guide them, no? As a parent. Pag synchronous naman, students meet online, teachers online. They have breaks, though still as a parent, you need to guide them. Okay? So how do you prioritize deadline? How do you prioritize things? How do you manage time? Madali siya in such a way na nakita mo yung anak mo na nandyan nagwo-work. You could monitor your kids right away, but then naghahati yung priorities mo between work, between school, and your kids. So ayun yung challenge natin. Okay? The second scenario is about tasks. So yung scenarios ko na to is basically made up of the 4 T's. The second one is the task. No? Well, as a teacher, we all know that we are basically having a lot of deadlines. No, I give if I'm going to give tasks to the students, I make sure I give 1 month for them to prepare. Most likely, if it is a performance task, 1 month yan. Kasi kung hindi, tagal niyan. So, one tips I could share to you guys, which I did in class. No? Kaya yung estudyante ko, bihirang mag-procrastinate, no? That's from my experience, no? I do calendar at the start of calendar activities. So at the start of our session, at the start of our meetings, no, I give my rules and regulation. I make it to the point that they are aware that there are guidelines, there are tasks they need to follow. What are the requirements for the end of the school, for the end of the quarter, for the end of the SEM that they need to accomplish? And I always make reminders of that. And and then Google platform, no? So it could also give you a lot of it could give you a lot of it could save you a lot of time if you're going to do tasks. Kasi pwede mo siyang i-adjust, pwede mo siyang lagyan ng reminder, lagyan ng notification kung kailan yung due ng task. No? For us, in the preparation for online learning, for the tasks, I think sa amin, and most of us siguro, we are having Google Classroom. And then for Google Classroom, there all the students are linked. And you can even invite your administrators or your principal if they're going to observe you on what you are doing. They could do that. You can even invite your supervisors in doing that, no? Ang galing, di ba? So, time management again. Link pa rin si time, link pa rin si task. Kaya lang, paano naman yung challenge nun if you're doing online learning at home? Yun ang problema. Kasi if you are a working mother like me, working parent ka, so there are a lot of challenges at us. Number one is yung time na naman. Time on how to dealing with the task. Paano mo siya pagsasabayin? So, ikaw, nagtatrabaho ka here, katabi mo kasi ganun ginagawa ko. I work here, tapos andyan si kid, nalalaman ko yung ganito. So, stop ka sa job, stop ka sa ginagawa mo kasi may kailangan siya. You cannot tell na, teka anak, may ginagawa ko, ganyan. Teka lang, sandali. Kasi maapektuhan na naman yung kanyang psychological state. Magtatampo, hindi na siya mag-aaral, things like that. So, mahirap, guys. But then again, it gives us the opportunity to see what are the things that our students are learning in school. Sabi nga ng aming principal, we should be very careful with the things that we are going to post online, the things we're going to share online. We should be prepared for the things we're going to share to our students because it's not just our student that can see us. Before, papasok ako sa classroom ko, I teach my students and assess if they learn, they have question, I can deal with it. No? The parents could not see it right away. If they wanted to talk to me, they would do communication lang. They would text, they would call, or I would call them to get their attention. If their child is failed to do this, to do that, if I have concerns with them. But now, for online learning, our task, guys, is a bit huge. No? Kasi si teacher, wala doon physically. Ikaw as parent, dapat facilitator ka. So, paano mo, yun yung concern ng iba sa mga parents natin. Paano mo tuturuan yung kids ko? Paano ko tuturuan ng math? Paano ko tuturuan ng ganyan? No? So, our Department of Education is able to give us a lot of choices, option for learning platforms. And then, I think because I also attended this Brigada Escuela last week, no? It was done by the Undersecretary of Education. And they say that this is the time that a community could lend a hand in supporting the kids. Kung sino yung mga tao sa komunidad na may mga talento, no? May mga skills na pwede nilang i-share doon. So, nagiging collaborate tayo. Halimbawa, ikaw, marunong ka magluto, so you can share that. Ikaw, marunong ka mag-deliver, so pwede ka mag-deliver ng modules. So, we could work together as one community. Pwede tayong mag-share, no? Magbigay voluntarily ng ating services to be able to help our kids in the community. And that's basically what Filipinos do. We do a lot of collaboration because one of the characteristics of us Filipinos is we are tightly bound as one family. So, ayun po yung thoughts ko about tasks. Okay. The third one is technology. Of course, technology, we could never underestimate. I think the kids that we're having right now, no? Meron na ako nakitang isang tagline, no? Kalalabas lang ng bata, nagsa-cellphone na siya. Ang gagaling ng bata, especially this generation. The Generation Z, they're very much acquainted with technology. It's not that from the picture, you can see that everyone is using it. No? But compared to the students we're having right now, you need to be careful with what you're saying because baka sinabi mo yan, Google na yan, tapos mali yung sinabi mo. Ayan ang problema doon. So you need to read more. Kung si student mo ay ganito, ikaw ay dapat mas ganito to be able to guide them and correct them and teach them a lot. No? So sa kanila, ang mga estudyante natin, na Generation Z, they think that technology becomes an extension of themselves. So in some cases, it leads to addiction naman. But let us be more positive. Again, from the Brigada Escuela, I learned, and one of the speaker who is the president of Home Learning School program in the Philippine Islands, he said that as parents, we should make sure us and the students there are two types of users of technology. The first one is the consumer, and the second one is the producer. So for our healthy technology for the technology to be able to access technology and appreciate it healthily embedded in us, and I think we should be producers. So when you say producers of technology, dapat ginagamit mo siya for learning platform, ginagamit mo siya for learning, meron kang natutunan na ganito, na ganyan, nagiging healthy yung effect nun sa brain. No? But if you are technology consumer, which sadly most of us Filipinos are like that, and I think not only us, most of the kids out there, no, you're basically consuming technology. I mean that you are watching videos, you are using social media, you are using streaming like that, and then mas matagal yung nanonood ka kesa sa nagpa-participate ka. Though you could say na pag nanonood ka, natututo ka din, no? But study says that most of our kids, you'll be shocked that ano yung site na lagi nilang pinapasok is the YouTube, and then there's a lot of danger in that, no? A lot of violent videos kasi ako from my experience, guys, yung aking mga anak ay lalaki, no? I have 3 boys, no? Yung eldest ko walang problema kasi he has ASD, autism, di siya aware of doon. Yung dalawa yung problema. So as you can see, hindi mo pwedeng i-allow lang yung technology para turuan yung anak mo. No? Dapat titingnan mo yung mga site na pinapasok niya, titingnan mo kung ano yung mga nababasa niya. Kahit na mga healthy siya, kahit na maganda siya, minsan pag in-screen mo siya, when you try to look about it, when you try to look for it, you could see that the kid is not doing or having it because it has a lot of effects on him, no? Nagiging violent sometimes, nagiging agitated sometimes. So yun yung problem. So we need to be there to guide our kids and to limit the use of technology. And the last one is transmission. Transmission is basically communication. When you have communication, so families should, you need to talk, no? Sabi nga dun sa commercial ng isang noodle company, no? Ano daw ang mga pinag-uusapan sa pagkainan. So, dapat mga positive lang. So, the objectives for today is to identify options of distance learning, discuss possible options and solution, and relate options to real-life situation and experiences. So, one of the men who was able to influence me is Nelson Mandela. So he said, education is the most powerful weapon which can be used to change the world. Yeah, because we have seen from our history and the history of the world that there's a lot of thinkers that was able to do and create a lot of invention that was usable now. And then there's some of also brilliant mind that was able to use the strategy they have to be able to conquer other countries. No? So what are the concerns of the parent during the COVID-19? So number one, exposure to virus. We don't know what is distance learning, the cost of learning services, electrical charges cost is high, and we are overwhelmed with homeschooling. So paano ko to gagawin, no? Hindi ko alam. So I think the Department of Education right now has shared this options for us. So distance learning, you could have online or you have offline. So makita mo siya, nakasulat siya in Tagalog. Kapag distance learning, offline modules ang pwedeng gamitin pag wala kayong internet sa bahay. As you can see, meron tayong ginawang survey, no? That most of you, most likely the parents have answered kung ano yung situation nyo. Kasi si DepEd, ano siya, ina-adjust niya yung kanyang decision based on your situation right now. It's really extending or finding on how to help you guys. So meron ba kaming sapat na connection sa bahay? Naalala niyo yung question na sinagutan niyo nung nag-enroll ang inyong mga anak? Ano yung mga internet niyo? Ano yung option na gusto niyo? Gusto niyo ba ng online? Gusto niyo ba ng TV? Gusto niyo ba ng radio? Kung meron kayong mga ganon. So i-check mo siya. So these are the options. Another option is printed module. Kung wala talagang TV, wala talagang radyo, wala talagang computer, at wala talagang ibang gadget ang bata, you could sort to printed module. And then you have blended learning. So I think ako nakapanood yung mga anak ko ng DepEd TV. Maganda siya, maganda siya. Channels, no, for kids. And then other networks are offering that their previous program, educational program, they're offering it for the Department of Education to be utilized. And then ang DepEd ngayon, meron siyang gumagawa siya ng mga videos, no? Ang mga same with the different divisions, nagpe-prepare siya ng mga videos. Kasi you could say that pag modules lang, paano tuturuan yung bata? Yung concern natin as parent, hindi ko to alam. So the student could watch the video on how to to understand and how to execute that. So you could not see the teacher, but is it like as if the teacher is inside or in your home? Okay. So the types of learning, you have flexible learning and you have low-tech learning. So na-mention nga natin yung distance education. So now we're having distance education, homeschooling. For low-tech learning, you have modular learning and then, yeah, ayan siya. So here is the delivery system of the countries presented again by UNESCO. Ito yung usage ng distance education nila. So as you can see guys, yung violet signifies online, the blue one signifies TV, and you have other platforms. So ang pinakamataas, as you can see, is in some countries it's online, and in some countries it's the other option. Okay. So flexible learning. What is flexible learning? So these are the sets of educational choice and concern providing increased convenience for personalization. So, nakita mo yung estudyante mo naka-uniform sa taas, hindi mo alam kung anong suot niya sa baba. Like this is my son, this is my youngest boy. Ayan siya, ganyan. And may kita na ni teacher kung paano namin ginagawa. Kasi iba-iba guys ang learners eh. So, kailangan i-adjust nyo yung inyong styles based sa klase ng learners na meron kayo. So, kaya siya flexible learning kasi personalized, no? Based sa yun ang bata. So, this is the algorithm by the Department of Education na nabigay na natin kanina. So, we have synchronous, online, digital, home-based, and you have homeschooling. Okay? So, when you fuse the school with home, you will have flexible learning. So, in experiment, there's no such thing as the first experiment is always the first one. If you're going to go back to the other scientists, no, like Edison, he was able to do a lot of experiments before he was able to come up with one, which is very successful. So we need to have this trial and error method. Let's go to the kinds of learner. No? Paano ba mag-work yung distance education sa bahay? First is you need to analyze what kind of learners you have. Ano klaseng anak, estudyante meron kayo. So auditory ba siya? Kinesthetic ba siya? Or visual ba siya? So this is how to address the kind of learners that you have. Kapag visual yung bata, no, mahilig siya sa arts, mahilig siya sa pictures, graph, maps, illustration, magaling siya mag-recognize, mag-recall ng people, ng salita, naaalala niya yun. Ibig sabihin, visual yung bata. And your child is interested in the world and the objects around you. Ganito ba yung anak nyo? So, kung ganito yung anak nyo, tingnan nyo na yung mga anak mo ngayon. Katabi nyo ba? O, tingnan nyo sila. Ano ba yung mga kaya nilang gawin, mga ginagawa nila? My child does best when providing an example of the task he is working in. So, guys, iba-iba ang bata. No? Sabi nga sa special education, ang bata is like opening a gift with different contents in it. Iba-iba siya. And taking the fact that it's a gift from God. So kapag auditory naman siya, mahilig siya sa music, mahilig siyang kumanta, kumakanta pa siya, naghahamba siya, no? Auditory, like us, no? Pag marami ako inaaral sa biology, ang strategy ko, lalo na ng college, no? Kinakanta ko siya, no? And most of us, alam ko, ginagawa na rin siya ng mga educators, eh. Yung kinakanta mo yung song for your students to be able to understand, especially if the concepts are so big, so huge. So, could understand verbal instruction. My child enjoys talking, having conversation with others. My child listen to the instruction before starting on the task. And my child ask a lot of questions when working on the task of activities. Matanong. Ayan. Tanong yung mga bata. So, paano ako nagtatrabaho kasi tatanong si bata? Okay? So, if your child is in reading and writing aspect, reading and writing, kind of learner, mahilig siya magsulat, taking down tasks, enjoys reading books, good in remembering, magaling yung kanyang memory din, best, but ang space niya dapat quiet. So as you can see guys, iba-iba yung kanilang learning space. Dito sa visual, kailangan meron siyang mga nakikita na mga printed material. Kapag auditory naman yung bata, no, pwede mo siyang bigyan, during breaks, dapat pwede mo siyang pakinggan ng music or pag kinakausap mo siya, pakanta, no? Like my youngest, ganun, auditory, pakanta siya. And then reading or writing, pag ganun naman yung estudyante nyo, yung anak nyo sa bahay, dapat quiet yung area. Walang ingay, walang distraction. So kapag kinesthetic naman, these are the things that are found. Yeah, so your child prepares to jump straight into the task and get started. Medyo active si bata, medyo hyper. Kaya lang, sabi nga natin, each of us are connected in the unique way. So here are the study tips. No? Medyo bibilisan na natin kasi makuubos na yung oras ko. So for visual, is you have to have colors to make the area. Since online learning ang mangyayari, kailangan yung area, may part sa bahay mo na magsiset ka, depende dun sa klase ng learner mo. Paano yun, ma'am, kapag ganito lang yung bahay namin, masikip yung bahay namin, ganito. Well, all I can say that, guys, we Filipinos are one of the most creative individuals in the planet. Antindi ng creativity natin, and it never stops. Kaakibat ng ating pagiging resilient. So we try to be creative, we try to find materials in your house, and I think you could do that. No? Magaling tayo sa ganyan to be able to adjust and to adapt. So you make flashcards, use for review, maps, charts, and diagrams. No? Okay. Pag auditory naman, mahilig, pwede mong gawin para maalala niya yung lesson niya, nagre-recite siya, recite study notes out loud, make up songs and rhyme, talk to your child, and then you talk to your child in which part he is struggling. No? Pag reading and writing naman siya, write study notes, diba nagaganon tayo, no? Kung tayo ay nag-aaral, mahilig tayo magsulat, no? Up to now, guys, I'm at the postgraduate, I still and do write, and one of my classmates is the same with me. Sabi ko, ba't nagsusulat may PowerPoint naman? Ang sabi niya, kailangan ko magsulat kasi hindi ko mapasok sa utak ko yung sinasabi ko pag di ako nagsulat. So, ayun yung ating field, no? We need to create quick checklist or guide, and we need to organize the notes, headings, and listing. So for kinesthetic, these are the idea. Dapat meron siyang mga nakakawakan, no, na bagay to keep him calm, no. But then tingnan mo rin kung nakaka-distract ba yun sa kanya. May mga games, teacher. So si teacher ay kailangan multitasker. Now, what are the role of the parents in the new normal? So this is our role. So this is me. Ito po ako sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Okay. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to raise a whole one child. But what if you don't have the entire village? Like me, I have 3 kids. May special pa akong anak. Paano yun? So we were both working. So how do you do with it? The first one, guys, that I could share to you is acceptance. So realization and acceptance. You need to accept that as a parents, our work is 24/7, 7/11. No? Walang tigil siya, dire-diretso siya, wala siyang putol. Kahit natutulog ka na, pagod ka na, you can never tell that because that's for your anak. And I think you all would agree with me. Kahit pagod ka na, minsan bibilin mo na ito, kakainin mo pa, i-consider mo pa yung anak. Kasi ganun po tayo mga Pilipino. No? Ganun po tayo. And I think most of us are like that. So we are facilitator of learning. Kagaya nito, yung aking anak, hindi siya ang ano niya is mostly kinesthetic, na hindi siya masyado, medyo nahihirapan siya mag-take in ng instruction. Magaling siya mag-English, but yung instruction binigay mo right away sa 6 years old, hindi niya magigets nun. Kasi iba ang bata, sabi ko nga kanina, pag nasa teacher siya, iba rin siya pag nasa inyo siya. Kaya magkakaiba ang bata sa bahay at sa school. So yun ang problem ko. Kasi itong anak ko na to, hindi siya nakikinig sa akin talaga, honestly. She would say, ngayon nga lang na niya naintindihan na teacher niya ako. Sabi niya, ba't ako makikinig sa iyo, mama? Hindi naman ikaw si teacher. And I think most of us, parents that are experiencing right now, no, yung anak natin, ang hirap natin pasunurin kasi hindi siya naniniwala na teacher ka kasi para sa kanya, mama ka niya. So alam niya, magpe-play kayo. Pagka pinagalitan mo naman siya, hindi na siya gagawa. So again, what do I do here? I have different strategy. At first, i-brief ko na siya, i-guide ko na siya kung paano gagawin. And then, sometimes I just keep quiet and sit beside him. And I get another headset and I listen. So, pag nag-ask siya ng help, dun lang ako. Kasi most, even though nasa bahay ang mga bata, no, kailangan they have the sense of autonomy. They have the sense of independence. They should learn how to be able to do things on their own. So, facilitator tayo, guys. Hindi tayo yung gagawa. No? I-guide lang natin sila. Hindi tayo yung gagawa. In most cases, ayan, kapag mahaba, okay lang pag English. Pagka Filipino, yan ang problema niya. No? Yung problema ng aking. Yung isa kong anak ko, do independent learning. Nabibigyan ko lang siya ng bibigyan ko lang siya ng mga pagkain dyan. So as you can see, yung kanyang learning area, meron na siyang clock doon, may pagkain siya sa gilid, no? Komportable siya, meron siyang electric fan, or pag dito naman sa kwarto, meron silang ventilation. So, ando na. Yung mga kailangan nila naka-ready na. Yung cabinet nila nasa baba, accessible na. Tapos, dapat hindi maingay, guys. Kasi kung maraming distraction na mahirap. So, sasabihin niyo sa akin, ma'am, paano yan pagka hindi naman kami ganyan? Yung bahay namin ay maliit, bahay namin ay masikip, wala kami maganyan. So, paano? So I believe that is up to you parents to create solutions to that. And I think you can do it. Kasi tayo mga parents, mga superheroes tayo. Okay. And then we are also community mobilizer for learning. So this happens for us, no? Preparation of modules. May mga kasamahan tayo na tumutulong, no? Not only the teachers, but the school staff, the administrator, the Department of Education. And the role of parent is, I think this is the most fun part for me. Kasi ako guys, how do I train my kids? Is we try to do things together. Kumakain kami sabay-sabay, tulog kami sabay-sabay, pray kami sabay-sabay. So kung ano yung gusto nila, I always support them. No? Gusto nila magluto. So this is my middle, yung aking pangalawang anak, yung aking bunso. Kasi makalat sila, but then learning. So during this time na hindi sila naka-online, no? Naka-asynchronous sila. So, yan. Tatanungin ko sila, gusto nila activity, gusto nila magluto. Turuan ko silang magluto, I could look for tasks that they could do on their own for them to experience autonomy, but at the same time, ipapasok ko yung lesson nila doon. So napaka-importante na yung school, dapat magbibigay siya ng syllabus, syllabi, or learning plan sa estudyante. Papasok ko na doon. Kagaya ito, ang problema niya Filipino. Kakausapin ko siya sa Filipino habang naghihiwa siya. Kung ikaw ay isang Pilipino, ano ang mga katangian? Pinapasok ko na. Sabi niya, mama, bakit ganyan? Ginagawa ko siya in the form of play para masaya. So, ito namang anak ko na to, mahilig siya mag-cut, ganyan. Tinatanong ko, paano mo ginagawa to? Paano yung 1/2? Yan. Di-divide mo sa ganito. Paano yan? So, hindi nila alam na nag-aaral sila, pero nag-aaral sila. So, aside from cooking, we also do gardening, yan, wherein I could teach science to my kids, I could teach learning to my kids. And most of the time, dapat guys, merong mga breaks yung anak mo. Dapat they make it a point that they could still enjoy. So, tips for setting a productive learning environment. Ito, yan. From the experiences of the students and teachers that I have, no? Ito yung kanilang mga feedback sa akin. So, dapat yung location ng bata based sa kanyang learning preferences. Kaya lang, case-to-case basis, depende rin sa availability. Kaya lang, you could be creative. You could put curtain in it. Kung maliit yung bahay, gawa ka ng division. No? There should not be a distraction. No? It should be comfortable, but not too comfortable. Kasi pag too comfortable, matutulog po yung bata. Matutulog po sila. No? Wag po ganun. So, tapos, kailangan meron good lighting. No? Kaya lang yung isa kong anak, ayaw niya nang masyadong maliwanag. So, depende rin. As long as nababasa niya, readable yung data, readable yung details. Okay. Meron ng supplies na ng pencil, calculator, yung mga kailangan niya nandoon na sa kanyang learning space. And one of the best thing you can do as a parent is to provide specific learning place. Sabi nga ng isa kong nakausap at nahihirapan daw siya kasi nga yung lugar nila ay maingay, daanan ng sasakyan, nahirapan siya mag-concentrate. Tapos may mga aso, meron pa siyang naririnig. So, paano magdi-deal si bata? So, what I did is I talked to the student, luckily is in a tertiary level. Sabi ko sa kanya, part yun ng challenge mo, part yun ng adjustment mo. Probably pwede kang mag-headset, no? Pwede kang gumawa ng adaptation. So, how do you set your kid to become prepared, to be better prepared? The first one is routine. Okay? Sabi dun sa isang article na nabasa ko, it is written by a millionaire. Paano daw siya nagiging millionaire? It starts by making his bed. Paano mo inaayos yung pagising mo pa lang, nakaset ka na kailangan maayos, kailangan maganda. No? For our student, you wake them up. Parang sa school, meron tayong routine. No? You do flag ceremony, they form a line, they go up, they greet the teacher, they arrange their chairs. Meron tayong routine. Ganun din dapat guys sa bahay. Kasi yung mga anak natin, yung mga estudyante natin, they have been the system for quite a long time. So dapat may routine ka rin. Dapat structure ka. So yun ang challenge sa parent. Paano mo gagawin yun? Kung hindi ka ganun, you could never give what you don't have. But then the challenge is here. Anong gagawin mo? So paano yung anak mo? So you need to be able to change your habit and practice it to become different step by step. So breakfast yung bata, no? In the usual run, pag busy yung bata, busy yung parent, hindi siya nakakapag-breakfast. Here sa online, ayun yung opportunity kasi pwede siyang mag-breakfast, no? Can decide when everyone pwede ka nang kumain without distraction, no? The second one is decide where everyone can do work best effectively. Pwede kang pamili ng spot ng bahay na pwede kang comfortable, pwede kang maghanap ng part ng bahay na malakas yung internet connection. Ayun nga lang, issues na naman sa Wi-Fi connectivity. Doon na papasok yung beauty ng module, guys, kasi meron nakikita si bata. No? Paano yung pag walang online o nag-Skype ka, sabi na isa kong kaibigan sa university, nagpapa-performance na siya, nawala yung internet, nag-lag, nag-stutter siya, parang nainis siya kasi yung mga estudyante, pagbalik niya, wala na lahat. Sinabi na magtatrabaho na sila, may iba silang gagawin. So, yun ang challenge natin. But then, we could not do anything about it, but just to do something for it, no? List the times for learning, exercise, scheduling, and sa mga anak ko, ginagawa ko yan. Yung calendar namin, nilalagyan ko yun ng mga activities. Sila yung magsusulat ng gagawin nila. Pagkatapos ng class nila, sabihin ko, ano yung assignment? Susulat nila sa papel yan, guys. Maliliit na paper, colored paper, mamimili sila ng paper. Susulat nila doon, didikit nila sa calendar. Pag dikit nila sa calendar, makikita ko na yun. Tapos meron yung mga badge, meron yung mga star. Ang badge, ang reward nila is gadget points. So you cannot go away with it. The other one, ang reward niya is pwedeng pagkain or pwedeng something. Ganyan. So, pag na-accomplish nila yun, tatanggalin nila sa calendar, meron silang reward. But then, most of the time, hindi naman kailangan may reward. Pwedeng praise lang, very good lang, lalagyan mo lang ng star, masaya na si bata. Okay, of course, we need to schedule for nutritious snacks sa home. Yun ang maganda pag nasa bahay ka, makokontrol mo yung ano ng anak mo, yung kinakain ng anak mo, less yung junk food niya. Kaya lang mostly nakita ko tumataba yung mga anak ko no kasi maraming beses silang kumain, mag-ransack ng rep namin. Okay, yung mga lalaki kasi. I think you also feel that way, no? Paano mag-budget, no? Hirap na hirap si mami. Kakain lang, kakain na naman. And then don't forget afternoon breaks. Kailangan yung breaks. Sa aking mga kids, meron silang break 10 minutes, no, kada subject. And it's good, nakakapag-stretch yung bata. Kaya lang ang suggestion ko sana, if you have your breaks, sana si teacher, titingnan din lang niya sandali kung yung mga bata is naka-off screen. Kasi minsan naka-break, pero yung mga bata nandun pa rin. So, hindi napapahinga yung eyes nila. And then one of the suggestion pala is you could have your kids, you could purchase devices such as yung mga anti-radiation na glasses. Kaya lang, hindi naman siya ganun kamahal. Kaya lang, it would cost you to, if you have a fear that their eyes would be damaged. So. And then, have family dinner together. Ayan, discuss things together. Ang pag-uusapan nyo dapat healthy. Sabihin nyo naman, i-value naman mga imposible naman ang gusto. But you could start doing it now. It's never too late, no? There's not a time in our lives that we are limited of doing which are the things that we are set to do this for a long time na hindi na natin kayang gawin yung mga bago nating pwedeng gawin. Kasi kailangan lang natin bigyan yung sarili natin ng chance to be able to learn things, to do things. Sabi nga ng aking friend na awardee for his expertise in technology, 21st century teacher siya. Sabi niya, ang ginagawa lang niya, nagpa-practice daw siya, nagtitingin siya sa YouTube, paano gawin. And then he was able to share to us. Paano as a parent, hindi natin pwede sabihin na matanda na ako, hindi ko nagagawin yan, ganyan. But for our kids, we need to do that. No? As a teacher for our students, we need to do that. We need to find time on how to be able to help our learners and our kids at home. No? Kasi they are our second generation. And as part of the second generation, sila yung magdadala ng ating bansa. No? Wow. Edukasyon para sa kaunlaran ng bansa. Okay, so in some ways, how to keep the media use positive and helpful. of course, you need to contact your teacher. So sa June, sa October, sorry, June, sa October 5, so the first thing that you should do, I think right now, may mga collaboration na tayo sa mga teachers eh. Kasi for us, sa, sa DepEd, no, meron kaming mga platform connected sa Google, connected sa social media na pag-clinic yung link, ang galing ng principal namin eh. Kung nag-suggest sa amin paano gawin, tapos yung mga experts namin ginawa, then tinuro sa amin. I-click mo yung link ni teacher, lalabas doon kung saan siya directly sa Facebook. So, wala kang ways na hindi mo siya makakausap. Hindi mo lang makakausap sa teacher kung hindi mo siya kakausapin. Kaya lang ang challenge, guys, for us educators, so, let's say ang klase mo is 5 or 6, and then you have 40 students, my God, ang dami nun. So, dapat matindi yung iyong time management and matindi yung iyong communication. Kasi I think most of the problem could be eliminated if communication is done and is proactively created. Nagawa siya ng maayos na nakausap mo siya ng maayos. So, wala namang hindi nadadaan sa magandang usapan. Ganun tayo mga Pilipino. So, good of social media, sinabi na natin yan. Trusted resources, use media together, yan. Take your child virtually to work. Ayan. Pakita mo sa kanya anong ginagawa mo. And limits are still very important. Dapat may limit. Hindi siya pwedeng mag-gadget ng 24 hours. Kasi as you could see, meron tayong mga report na nakikita na nagsisisure yung bata. No? Na-try ko yan guys, this vacation, yung aking mga anak kasi we have been through a lot, no? Na-experience ko rin na nawalan ako ng loved one ngayong pandemic, no? Ang hirap, no? Kasi syempre nabawasan ng tutulong at mag-aano sa mga bata. So yung mga anak mo, hindi mo masyadong na-monitor. Ang tagal nila naka-gadget. Yung bunso ko talaga gumagana na yung mata niya, no? Na ano ako, tapos yung kanyang language, iba na. So as a parent, sabi mo, teka, kilala ko pa to yung anak ko. So, paano ko na siya i-address ngayon? Nandito lang sa bahay. Bibigyan ko lang ba siya ng gadget? Ayaw ko lang pa siya mag-aral mag-isa. So I was able to do this simple diagram. This is the framework that I wanted you to share with you guys. We all have the challenges that I have identified a while ago. Ang dami nun, no? Dami ko nasabi, no? Or meron pa akong mga hindi na-hit na meron kayo ngayon. Ang dami nating challenges sa time, paano natin pagsasabayin yung work, paano natin pagsasabayin yung work ng ating mga anak. But then, it has solution. Ang solution doon is time management, no? Routine, practice routine, and then it provides a learning opportunity. Kasi ikaw, kung hindi ka ganon, nag-i-start ka maging ganon, in a way, as a parent, nagiging disiplinado ka rin. You cannot say na, parent na ako, I'm this, I'm that. No, it should not be like that. Kailangan, as we go along, nagiging tayo lifelong learners tayo. Ganun ang education, hindi siya natatapos dapat. Hindi pwedeng, ako yung magulang, I know this, I'm the all-knowing. No, hindi na ganun ngayon, guys. 21st century na mga kapatid, dapat we learn, how to listen to your kids. Kasi you will never know who they are. And they will never tell you what they are thinking. So kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng iba-ibang episodes and issues because of that. The lack of communication. But now you have the time at home, you could talk to your kids, be with your kids, do bonding activities. That is a learning opportunity for all of us. And I think that's the beauty of it, no? Yung pinag-uusapan namin dalawang mag-asawa. The second challenge is in terms of the task, no? Ang challenge dun is, paano mo i-organize yung task ng anak mo dun sa schedule mo? Mahirap, lalo na kung may mga racket ka pa. Paano mo gagawin yun? Kung mag-ano ka, paano yung anak mo? Sino magtitingin? Like me, may anak pa akong special child. Ang solution doon, no? Uusap kayo. No? Parang sa school, nag-uusap kayo, nagbi-meetings kayo, nagko-collaboration kayo. Paano? You ask each other suggestion kasi ito yung time to reach out to one another, to express each other. Paano natin isa-solve to? Kasi para siyang trial and error eh. Okay? So ano yung opportunity noon kung yun yung problem mo, kung yung task. Kung task yung problem mo, I think ang learning opportunity doon again is you're able to do communicate well. Dati, bibigay ka lang ng pera sa anak mo, magpo-provide ka lang ng ganito, tapos papasok na siya sa school, hindi mo na nakikita, sasabihin mo lang siya, anong ginagawa mo sa school? May ganito ako, ganyan. Pero hindi mo nakikita talaga. Here, at distance learning, online learning, you could see what your kids are doing and you could monitor. Ayun ang learning opportunity din, guys. You could right away see ano yung saang part mahina si anak mo, saang part mahina si bata. Pwede mo i-check yung learning plan. Ito ba yung dapat mong natutunan? Teka, ano yung nire-research mo? Ayan, pwede mo na siyang i-ground, pwede mo na siyang i-control, pwede mo na siyang tanungin about doon. No, nakita mo, teka, ito yung problema ng anak ko. So mag-reach out ka na sa school. So as a parent, dapat, as an educator as well, dapat alam mo yung learning platforms. Alam mo kung ano yung ginagamit ng school mo, ano yung preferred style ng school mo, dapat alam mo yun. Kasi kami sa school namin, meron kaming site, meron kaming page wherein the parents could ask question and yung principal namin, my God, napaka-diligent niya, napaka-tiyaga niyang magsagot noon. So nalalaman niya lahat, no? Salute to Sir Alexander Havan Escote, our dear principal. So, and then for transmission, sometimes nagkakaroon tayo ng problema nung nasa actual school setting pa tayo, sa mga deadlines, di nakakabit yung bata, iba yung pinasa, ganito yung ginawa, tapos may concern ka sa grade, bakit ganun na yung grade. Sa online learning, since kasama mo gumagawa yung anak mo, tapos ka na mag-class. Okay. Sa online learning, yung mga ginagawa natin, ayan, ito po yung aking anak. Yan tapos na yung kanyang klase. Sa online learning, nakikita mo agad kung ano yung mga hindi niya pinapasa. No? So nababawasan yung time na magka-create siya ng kanyang bubble, hindi sabihin sa yung totoo. Hindi mo lang nade-develop yung kanyang knowledge, yung kanyang cognitive, pati yung kanyang yung kanyang attitude. Natitrain mo na siya. So kahit gaano siya kalaki, sabihin niya, ma'am, malaki na, sumasagot na sa akin. Ayun, yun yung kailangan natin i-practice. Kasi ako, I believe that lahat naman ng bagay natututunan. So it takes time. No? You need to do it step by step, bits by bits. Okay? So before leaving, before I end my presentation today, the other day, one of my kid was able to tell me na meron isang show. No? Ako guys, ang suggestion ko sa inyo as a teacher and as a parent, medyo matagal na rin akong teacher. No? Ang teaching, isa siya sa pinakamahirap na trabaho. Very noble siya, pero very challenging, very mahirap siya. Ang ma-advise ko sa inyo is, number one, be able to give yourself a chance to learn. Huwag yung agad na negative agad tayo. Yung ating mindset, dapat positive tayo. Dapat ano yung matututunan ko dito? Hindi yung ang dami ko na namang gagawin, ang dami ko na namang ipapasa, ano na naman yung training na yan, gaya nung summer, nagpasa ng ganito, ng ganyan, ganito. Yeah, napapagod tayo. It's normal. We are human beings. But then ang mag-benefit naman nito at the end of the rainbow is our kids and our students. So sulit naman lahat ng pagod natin. No, itong batang to, lagi kong kinakausap, hindi nakikipag-cooperate, ang hirap hanapin, walang Facebook account, ganyan-ganyan, and that, ang dami nating reklamo, ang dami nating dilema. Pero as a teachers, kahit na marami tayong nasasabing ganun, at our own heart, napaka-concern natin sa bata. So, happy Teachers Month po sa ating lahat. So, I was able to get this from the movie, alam niyo na sa picture. Yung kantang, we'll be together again. Ayan. Kasi sa ending part, kung napanood nyo to, what makes it beautiful, kahit na pambata siya, iba-iba kasi sila. Iba-iba silang bears. Meron silang iba-iba. Parang tayo, iba-iba yung kaya natin gawin, iba-iba yung ating style, iba-iba yung other opportunities, iba-iba yung problems na meron tayo. And they are caught up, these 3 bears and the rest of the bears are caught up in a certain problem, in a certain situation. Na-trap sila sa fire. So anong gagawin nila? So like us, we are having right now, we're having the pandemic, our resources are limited, our time is limited, no? You know what they do? Yun yung mga nakapanood ng movie na to. What they do? Simple lang guys. Very simple. Di nila kailangan ng kung anong devices. They just learn how to do teamwork. They just learn how to communicate and collaborate. Ang ginawa nila, they stack up. Di ba ganun yung mga bear? They stack up from one another. They try to help each other. Okay? And then eventually, they pull each other up para pinila sila ng helicopter pataas. Tapos transfer to a safe place. Yun ang maganda dito. So, you would say na ang hirap-hirap naman ng situation ngayon. Yes, mahirap talaga. And I could attest to that. No? Kasi ako, I've experienced again as a parent, and as a mother, as an educator, napaka-challenging ng task araw-araw, extra challenge araw-araw. nahihirapan ka. But then at the end of the day, when you see your kids, when you see your students, when they learn, it makes you happy. Like as teachers, no, wala tayong inihiniling kundi matuto yung estudyante natin. If they were able to achieve, students, if you're listening right now, no, karamihan ng teachers, no, they might be telling you this and that. Minsan napagalitan kayo na makokorek kayo, na magtatampo kayo. But then, hindi ganoon. Ang heart ng teacher is basically for the students. Ano yung makakabuti para sa bata? Bakit ba siya nagsabi? Bakit ba siya nag-control? Bakit ba siya? Kasi ganun kanya kamahal. No? As a teacher, ganun usually tayo. Mahilig, inuuna natin yung ano yung magiging effect nun sa ating students. No? So as a Filipinos, we are considered to be one of the most resilient people in the whole world. No, ang dami na natin pinagdaanan kasi guided tayo we are very much guided with our culture. We have two advantages. We have our family, and the second one is we have faith in God. So whatever happens in us, if we hold on together like these bears, I think we could pull this through. So as a parent, let's learn to work with the Department of Education, with our school. As a teachers, let's learn to work together. Listen to our administrator, and as an administrator, let's listen to everyone to be able to make it work. So with that, and ito po yung aking summary for sad experiences. We need to act as role model. We need to encourage them, have physical activity so that the student learn best. And as Einstein say, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So ayan guys. So, thank you for having me here today. Thank you, VIBAL. I would like to thank my Pitoga High School, my family, most especially my friends and my colleagues from the science department, my principal, Mr. Alexander Haban Escote, and my beloved department head, Imelda Dikiban, for all of this, for cheering me. My MOOC family, thank you, and my UMAC family, and my classmates and my mentors at the graduate school. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, let's proceed to the question and answer portion. Our first question is from Janine Asiano. As teachers, ano po ang pwede natin gawin to help our students feel our presence as their second parents kahit na distance learning?
I think I've mentioned some of that a while ago. No? So kung ikaw ay nakikita ka lang nila on screen, how could they feel that? I think ang mga estudyante napakatatalino nila guys. So in some cases nga lagi ko sinasabi that they say that they learn from me, but honestly I learn a lot from them. Madami ka matututunan sa kanila if you're going to listen. So how could you reach out? There are a lot of ways you could reach out to them. You could reach out through social media platforms, no? Hindi naman tayo pwedeng mag-home visit. Dati kasi we could do home visitation. But we could talk to them, we could chat them personally in our Google Class, kung meron sila. Kasi ako, once in a while, I make it to the point na yung mga future students ko, especially my advisory class, kinakausap ko sila, what are their problems, ganyan, what are their concerns. And my previous students then, they could ask me ano yung pwedeng gawin. Yun ang pwede kong i-share. You make yourself available. Kaya lang, of course, it will take some of your time, no? And be able to share time with your students are priceless. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question is from Michelle Del Rosario Diezmo. What if my child is not really that studious? Even you teach her and remind her always that she needs to study, but she is not that serious. What can you suggest, ma'am, on how to make her independent to have a good study habit?
Okay, ma'am. I think I know the solution to that. Kasi yun ang nararanasan ko with my youngest. No? Hindi siya ganun ka-studious kagaya ng pangalawa. Yung pangalawa, wala akong problema eh. Talaga he could work on it. From my experience, ang ginagawa ko sa kanya, ma'am, is like I said, I do routine. No? Kasi yung routine na nagbibigay sa akin ng chance na makapasok ako dun sa layer ng anak ko. Let's say, kakagising lang niya. Oops! Good morning. Babati mo siya ganyan. Ano ginagawa mo? Ligpit tayo ng higaan. Ayun yung mga routines namin. Ligpit namin ng higaan. After nilang magligpit ng higaan, tatanungin ko na siya ng breakfast, kakausapin ko na siya doon. Para nakakapasok ako sa bubble niya. Tapos, I'm going to limit him with lalo na kung yung anak natin ay medyo distracted, no? Na ililimit mo sila sa mga platforms, not so much with that, no? Lalo na mag-gadget lang sila, mag-YouTube lang sila, tapos kung ano pa panoorin nila. Tatanggalin mo muna yon, no? Kailangan meron ka, pag nag-set ka na ng routine, dapat meron kang arrangement sa contract, no? But then it will fall on the age of your kid. Pag maliit, no, siguro pag mas maliit, medyo kaya-kaya pa natin bala-balahin. Ang problema pag malaki na, yun yung problem. But I think I suggest one of the things that I do pagka gano'n na ano yung sa akin yung anak ko. Kasi try ko yun eh. Try ko yung iba yung magagalit ako, hindi ako masasalita, i-ground ko siya, hindi nag-work. Ang ginagawa ko is just to sit beside him and keep quiet. And tatanong ko siya, ano yung kailangan niya, ganyan. I just make my presence felt. Ganun guys. Hindi naman mostly ang pagiging studious ay basically sa pag-aaral. Kaya lang kasi yung mga sinasuggest ko sa yung tips na pag natutunan ng bata yung routine, na nagiging part niya yun eh. So mas madali mo siyang i-lead dun sa gusto mo. And then, yung mga bata, studies says that yung mga bata na meron silang mga simple tasks sa bahay na kaya nilang gawin are much more responsible and much more better in school, no? Than the ones that they have. So probably could start having routine now, ma'am. Bigyan mo sila ng start they could do together. Dapat nandun ka para magawa niyo. Kung working ka naman, di mo siya parating magawa, kailangan meron siyang kasama na nag-guide siyang gano'n. Kasi pag whole day lang siyang mag-gadget, whole day lang siya mag-isa, ayun ang problema doon. Pag gano'n yung situation, kailangan kakausapin mo yung bata ng matindi. Kasi walang mag-guide sa kanya. Or you could ask the help of his or her teacher kung meron na kayong contact, no? Sabihin mo na ano ng anak mo, pwede kang mag-ask, pwede kang... Kasi merong iba-ibang levels ng intelligence for them. Merong assessment for that. Okay? I hope I answered your question.
That's all the questions we have for now.
Okay.
Any last reminders to our viewers for today, ma'am?
Again, I would like to thank everyone, my friends, my relatives for being with me today. I would like to thank VIBAL, no? Kinakabahan ako kanina, no? Hindi naman masaya naman pala pag nandito ka, no? Reminders lang for everyone. We are in this together kasi like I said, we Filipinos have this capacity, are connected. We have two advantages for this. The first one, we have our family to support us, and the second one, we are one of the most resilient people. We have been through a lot, no? Sabi nga sa biology, alam nyo ang DNA na ang DNA natin has thousands of possibility. We just need to give ourselves a chance, no? Pagaya na itong pandemic, nagkaroon tayo ng chance to look at our previous hobbies. Yung iba kong friend, nag-paint sila, nagaganda sila, nagluluto sila. Bigyan natin ng chance yung sarili natin to learn, no? Let us be positive, let us be nice to ourselves. Ano yung mga pwede natin gawin together? Let's learn to reach out to one another. No? Kasi wala naman talagang expert dito kasi wala pa nakakaranas. And then, let's not forget for God, at faith in God. Kailangan natin yung positive mindset, yung kailangan natin yung spiritual guidance. And then, stay safe, iwasan yung labas. That's it pa.
There we have it. On behalf of VIBAL Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this eye-opening and insightful learning session.
Wait, ma'am. Wait. I would like to clarify, I'm not yet a doctor, no? Kasi, I'm still on the process of acquiring my PhD. So thank you, VIBAL, for being so generous.
It is an honor to have you with us today, ma'am. And to all our VIBAL viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. We encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official VIBAL Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Morning. Bye.